Welcome to Let's Build a Cult, the show that asks, what would you do if you were suddenly elected the leader of a cult? I am your host and cultsultant, Phoenix Trinidad, and today I am joined by comedian James G. Warren. Welcome, James.
Thank you so much, Phoenix. Great to be here.
Thank you. So I'm going to run you through how this works. So basically, the show is it's part thought experiment. It's kind of like a weird job interview, and it's also like a role-playing game. So that's why there's dice and cards there.
Okay.
I'll explain those later. But basically, your goal is to build the most successful cult that the world has ever seen. Right. And it's also up to you what that means in terms of like, is the cult going to be a force for good, or do you just want to build a society the way that you think a society should be run? And yeah, that's pretty much it. So you're the leader of the cult. There's 3 stages. So there's a preparation stage where I vet your leadership skills. And then there's also the build phase, which is where we work out the logistics, so where your cult is going to be located, all your laws, your guiding principles. And then the last phase, which is the test phase, is I'm going to throw some scenarios at you so we can actually test out your leadership skills. And at the end of the podcast, I will rate your leadership skills and cult out of 10. Most of that's going to be based on whether or not I would want to be a member of your cult.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it. So, James G. Warren, are you ready to build a cult?
Yeah, I love this. It feels like I'm in the hot seat.
Awesome. Okay, so first things first, this is the preparation phase. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of the word cult?
Religion.
Yeah.
So, the country, but you asked it first, so I'll just say religion.
Religion. So, did you grow up religious? Yes. No. I just observed of what I've seen of cults and people that I know that have been in cults, that religion's kind of the glue that keeps people together in ways that you would otherwise not keep people together. Yeah. Like that sort of belief system kind of keeps people in line and makes people behave in crazy ways. You kind of need a bit of that. But do you think it's a good thing, or like a net good or a net positive for the world? Like, do you...
I don't know. I don't know. There's lots of religions and kind of it has divided the world, but it's also united a lot of the world as well. Okay.
So, what's the cultiest thing that you've been a part of?
Probably comedy.
Yeah.
Or like meme pages.
What? I mean, yeah, I get that. Like a subreddit.
Yeah.
What's the cultiest meme page that you're a part of?
Tasmanian ad memes.
What?
Grew up in Tassie. Just someone started making memes about all the ads that we used to see on TV growing up.
Right.
And it's just such a...
like local ads and stuff.
Yeah. So it's just like a really selective thing. Like you only get it. You only get to be like part of the group really and get the jokes if you have that experience. So that's kind of the most culty thing I've been part of.
But what part of it is it that's like, oh, this is culty, this feels culty? Is it just that shared experience?
Just like cult following, really, not really that deep.
Okay.
Comedy's way deeper because comedy's like you're investing your time. Yeah. Like you're spending 3 hours of your day to do money. 5 minutes. Yeah.
So do you like comedy as a like a hobby itself, or do you mean like little communities within comedy? Don't have to call anyone out, but...
there's definitely...
We'd love you to.
There's definitely cliques and stuff like that, but I'm talking about the way that you're kind of dedicating your time and worshipping this this ideal of like what comedy should be, right? By practicing it and it really takes a lot of time and a lot of delusion, really. You know, like I was talking about religion, like we're united comedians in the belief that we can make it, that we can do it, that we can one day be like a professional comedian making a living off it. Yeah. Something that we love doing.
So to be a cult, you need like a dream, like a common dream, common goal.
Everybody needs a dream.
Yeah.
I think that's how you get vulnerable people into cults, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess
by giving them something to believe in, something to stick to.
Right. Yep, that makes sense. Okay.
Do you feel
starting to see...
Can I reverse interview you?
Yeah, 100%. You can ask me questions at any time.
Have you been in cults and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, I grew up Catholic. So I was raised Catholic. And that is... that...
They got lots
like
of
a Catholic
apparatus.
Oh, yeah. So I had a very different Catholic upbringing than a lot of people, I feel like, because like my experience of mass. So obviously, when you're Catholic, you go to church every Sunday. But when I would go to church, I would only go to church when my dad went to church because he was the leader of a choir, like a church choir, like he had this little group of Filipinos, and he would be up there with a guitar and he would like lead them, and they would sing and all of that. And it was actually a really like, it's kind of a nice experience because it's dad, and he's singing with a guitar, really upbeat music. But then the first time I went to a Catholic mass where dad wasn't there, and it was like a proper Catholic mass with like the organs and shit.
Yeah.
That's a whole different story. And then like you get into, because like in Catholic mass, they do like a call and response thing. So the priest is at the top and he's, you know, he says, and then the rest of the fellowship has to go.
In Latin or in English?
Well, in English now. They used to be in Latin.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and
that's crazy.
That's when if you're sitting in that audience for the first time and like people around you start chanting things in response to that's when you're like, oh, this is a cult. But a really successful one because it goes all the way to, you know, the Vatican.
Yeah, at what point is it not a cult anymore and it's just a legit?
I think success.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. The only difference. Only difference is success.
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to build.
That gives us hope, man.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so what's the highest position of leadership that you've been in?
Ooh, that's interesting. Maybe running a comedy room. I kind of assume a lot of leadership, and
how's that make you feel like when you're a room runner?
You're trying to get me to say it feels good?
No, I'm just like, do you see it as more of like power or responsibility?
Responsibility, definitely, because it weighs on me and it's not fun, like in the moment.
Right.
Like even though it's just a gig, it's just a stand-up comedy gig.
Yeah.
All I need to do is make sure that the sound is on, that the MC is comfortable, that the acts are there.
Yeah.
And it kind of just runs itself.
Yeah.
But I'm still feeling stressed because at the end of the day, it's like my responsibility to make it all happen. Even though it's so easy to make it happen, I'm like, I cannot relax until it's done.
So what power do you get? What privileges do you get? Like obviously you get to go on whenever you want to go on.
I can put myself on for a spot whenever I want every week. You know, that's regular stage time. I can decide who I'm gigging with.
Yeah.
One night every week, I get to decide I've decided exactly who I'm gigging with. It's the best.
Yeah. Which that has to feel.
So
that has to feel.
It
good.
kind of it's power. Like it's not like it's within the comedy scene. So I'm not controlling the entire comedy scene, but my own little slice of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm kind of in power, but I share it with another guy, so it's not just me.
Right.
Because I did run a room by myself once, and it was awful.
Yeah.
Because everything comes through you.
I haven't run a room. I've run events, like I've like MC'd and run like comedy festival. I guess counts as you're kind of running a room. But yeah, like have you abused your power in any way? Do you feel like you're the type of person that would? Because I don't think you would, knowing you personally.
No, I don't think so. I know people that have kind of tripped off the power a little bit.
Yeah.
And it disgusts me.
It's
I try to be
it
like
feels inevitable though, especially with a room runner.
Well, I mean, you start to trade. One of the ways you get on in other people's rooms is you trade spots. So other people that run rooms, you're like, oh, I'll have you here if you have me another week. And so you kind of fill up each other's calendars like that. It's quite incestuous, really. It's like, but it's the best way to get consistent stage time,
right?
So that you can work on your craft.
Okay.
So there's that kind of thing that, that kind of chips away at the meritocracy of the ideal system, which is we're just getting on.
Chips away at the meritocracy.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I really do.
A lot of things chipping away at the meritocracy.
Yeah. Okay.
Someone said that there is no meritocracy.
Well, based on this, I feel like you have a pretty level head when it comes to leadership, if that's your leadership experience.
I'm a reluctant leader.
And, that goes back to Plato, really, He said something about a leader should be reluctant in the Republic. I can't remember. I did philosophy in year 12.
There's
a while
this
ago.
guy, Cincinnatus. You heard of him? They named a U.S. state after him. Cincinnatus, Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was living on a farm and the Roman Empire was going to shit, and they were like, bro, help us out. We need to, like, when things really start to hit the fan, they like get rid of the Senate and just appoint like a dictator for a bit.
Right.
Like, we're putting one person in charge to make some decisions and get shit done. Mm-hmm. And they put him in charge. He like dealt with it. He goes back to living on his farm.
Yeah, right.
He gives it up. A lot of people, when they get to that position of power, would hold on to it.
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, I'm done."
Right.
I'm
He's just a
giving it up.
ring-in. Yeah.
And then
he's on contract.
It happened again. He was chilling on his farm, and they called him again. Like,
yeah.
We need you to.
Because it started going to shit again.
It's going to shit again.
Twice in his lifetime.
He did it again. He came out and turned it around, and then he went and lived on his farm again.
Right. Okay, so if we were talking in terms of you as a leader, is that sort of what you're going to model your leadership tenure as?
Yeah.
Okay.
The reluctant leader by example.
Okay. So you want to make sort of a large impact in a short amount of time. So you wouldn't want the longevity of it.
Longevity is important too. That's another thing.
Yeah.
It's one thing to be a ring-in and get everything done, but to set up a system that can outlive you, I think that's the real test.
Right. Okay.
That's a huge project.
That's a very wise way of.
Because how many figures in history, like people like Cyrus the Great, like some of the really great leaders, Genghis Khan, built huge empire. As soon as they're out of the picture, collapse because everybody just fights amongst themselves for their share of that power.
Yeah. Because they only see the power, right? Anyway.
Some people do.
Right. Okay. Well, James E. Warren, congratulations. You are going to be the leader of this cult.
Oh, fantastic. Was that the job interview bit?
That was the preparation phase.
Okay.
You have passed. I will tell you that everybody that comes on the show will pass.
Okay.
But
great.
Not everybody's going to pass in the same way that you do. So you can take that, I guess.
Oh, that's flattering enough.
Yeah. All right. So now we're moving over to the build phase. This is where we work out the logistics. This is where we really get into the nitty-gritty and the details of your cult. So first thing, we're going to sort out population, right? So the hypothetical is, or the experiment is that you're going to be elected leader and you're just going to get a set amount of people tomorrow, right? So it's the year 2023 in this time period that we are. You're going to get them tomorrow. This is where the first dice roll comes in. So that's a 20-sided die that's there. So it's labelled from 1 to 20. And we're going to multiply that by a factor of 50. So the most people that you're going to be assigned can be 1,000 people if you roll a 20. If you roll a 1, that's 50 people. And then whatever in between there.
Okay.
So that's a large responsibility. So
yeah, that's going to change things, isn't it?
It is. So what's the biggest gig that you've performed to?
I went that's kind of interesting. I did a gig supporting Matt O'Kine at a music festival in Tassie. And it was on like mid-morning, sort of like 10, 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And everyone was like hungover from the night before because it's a music festival.
Yeah.
And, there's not really any bands on.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like chill time. And everybody packs into this like second stage kind of setup. Mm-hmm. And it's like 1,000.
Okay.
1,000, 2,000, like thousands.
Right. So
like
if you...
waves of people, like you would tell a punchline and like tell a joke, get to the punchline and you see people get it.
Right.
Like you see people laughing, like the animation of people just like rolling across this plane like a wave.
Yeah, and it's
crazy
because they're hungover. So it's actually slower than it would normally be too.
They're hungover.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Well, give that a roll.
So, how does that relate to
the how many people?
What's the biggest gig?
Well, I was just going to say, if you roll 1,000, and if it's around 1,000, just to visualize, that's how many people that you're going to be in charge of. I'm trying to.
Right. I know how to speak to that many people.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Give it a roll. So you've rolled a 15, and I've got a chart here because I don't know how to do maths. That's 750 people.
750.
So tomorrow you're getting 750 people in your cult.
Okay.
So you've done a gig to more than that, so you know how to speak to that amount of people.
Yeah.
But now you're responsible for 750 people.
Yeah, right.
And it's all different races and creeds and colours and all that kind of thing. So sample of the population, 750 people. First thing we need to sort out is shelter. So the big decision is: are you going to take this 750 people off-site? Are you going to go start a commune somewhere, or are you going to let them stay within society, like a religion?
Well, that's clever. That would be the clever thing, because you would be, provide their own accommodation.
Right.
You don't have to build shit for them.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a commune, man. I'd love to have a commune.
Most people go for the commune, yeah. Because you have more control. I think you have more control over them and their lives. And if you're doing what you want for the greater good, for their benefit, it might be safer for them to be in a commune. But then, there is that other side of you don't have to provide all that if you're...
Yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah.
But if you're really going to...
But you've got to work harder to keep them engaged, though, too. Because how many people, drop out of religions,
It'd be interesting to know how they keep them.
Yeah.
In cults. I mean, there's lots of
Well,
manipulative
we'll get to
tactics, man. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go to the commune just because it's the most fun.
Yeah, and it's all about fun.
It's who wouldn't want to go live on a commune?
Right.
Go, always entertain the notion of going and living somewhere.
Have you ever done something? I guess what's the closest thing you've done to living in a commune? Like school camp?
Yeah, that's it. Or like a shack on Bruny Island, which is like the Tasmania of Tasmania.
Right.
The southern island of Tasmania.
Like with a bunch of people, or just
with my mates.
Yeah,
just like
okay.
My mates in a shack.
And you have to fend for yourself kind of thing, like a camping trip. Yeah, that's what it is, except it's 750 people.
Yeah, it's a camping trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a camp.
Yeah.
Let's get like a billabong and a campfire.
Well,
and it'll be great.
That comes into the next bit. So, terrain. So you can go anywhere. What type of terrain would you want to be in this commune? You can go beachy or mountains, or where's the ideal position?
There's lots of space all over the country. I'd want somewhere a bit lush.
Right.
We're talking vegetation, not there's a lot of desert in this country. Sort of where we are right now, like Melbourne southeast, southeast sort of like interior of the country, maybe mountain, or towards the mountain.
Towards the mountain, yeah. With obviously you need a water source and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So sort of highlands, or
Highlands. You got pretty clear rivers.
Cool. All right.
That
So
sounds
you've
good to
got So you've got your commune, 750 people.
If I hadn't figured it out already, that's where we're walking on day one. When 750 show up, 750 people show up, that's where we're walking to.
Okay, well,
that's
you don't have to... Wait, so you would make them walk from wherever they are to the commune?
I mean, we could organise
and they
buses
would do it.
or...
Yeah, okay. So let's just skip all that part. We're in the commune, in the Highlands. So whereabouts in Australia? Which Highlands? So
I'm actually not
Danny
very
Ranges?
good on the
Either am I.
geography
I was hoping
of
you would
Victoria at all. Because, Dandenong Ranges sounds good.
Yeah, let's say Danny Ranges, somewhere
right.
around there, and then it's you got a water source, you got all that sorted, you got your land, enough for 750 people.
So I've got the land.
You've got the land.
We don't have to go and
You don't have to go and take it.
Yeah.
We've already done that.
Yeah, my people have done that more than enough times.
Food. So how are we doing food and resources? So you got 750 people. Obviously, they're going to work on the land, right? Yeah. So it's a farming commune. Raise.
You got to farm.
Yeah. You got to farm.
You got to eat.
You got to eat.
That's what society's built on, is agriculture.
Yeah. Right.
If you read *Sapiens*,
I have read *Sapiens*.
it's the best.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You got to trace back to the evolution of man.
Yeah.
How we went from nomads to a society was agriculture.
So is that sort of the theme of your cult? Like you want to tap into that, early human just discovering agriculture thing? Or is there a certain time period? Like, are you banning technology, or do you want to go all the way back to a certain, like the Amish or whatever they do?
I think there's a lot of benefit to technology. I think we're probably not going to be as advanced as like a city kind of culture.
Right.
But we're going to have...
Is there Wi-Fi?
Electricity? Wi-Fi?
Because
it could be difficult.
Yeah.
It is the
it's
country
going to be spotty phone coverage, but
yeah.
Is there Wi-Fi? Like, is everybody entitled to Wi-Fi?
Entitled to Wi-Fi? We don't even have that here. That's a pretty big...
Well, yeah, but it's
it is
your
everywhere.
Yeah, it is a big infrastructure thing now that I'm thinking about it.
Wi-Fi, I mean, Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay.
If we can do it.
So
But,
you're allowed to access the internet and everything.
Yeah, I'm not going to try and like be really, really controlling.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, if you got to do things with freedom of information, I mean, how good of you are as a leader are you really?
Right.
You know, if you can't inspire people without having to, you know, if you
Restrict
can inspire
them.
people rather than restrict them, then that's the way I'd go. For
Okay.
Sure.
Beautiful.
If possible, otherwise, Wi-Fi's out. We're chucking it in the river.
All right. So it's okay. So you gotta test it out. This is sounding like a really nice place to live, by the way, so far.
Yeah,
I'm liking it.
Sounding pretty utopian.
Yeah. So money, currency, how are
Currency.
resources divided? So everybody's working the land, they're working the commune.
We've got enough people that some people can work the land and some people can, you know, we can do other things as well. We can divide people up and have different roles. We don't need everybody to do everything.
How do you divide them up?
Well, we need. Well, it might be a bit touch and go. Might be a bit figure it out as we go.
Right.
But
So obviously, if you're going to get people to work the land, you just like, okay, if you're a male and you fall within this age group, you're working the land kind of thing, or is it, if you want to work the land, please work the land because we need people to work the land.
it's going to have to be a bit tougher than that because it's going to be hard work.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to get most people to be working on the land.
Right.
Unless you've got like a really special task.
Okay. Yeah. And then so the people that work the land, are they just working for themselves, for the resource themselves? Or like, let's say, what do you want to grow? Like, what's your base staple food?
I was thinking about this.
Yeah.
Potatoes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Easy to grow?
Easy to grow. Lots of carbohydrate can
Yeah.
sustain people pretty well.
Do you have a garden where you, like, right now? Do you garden now?
No, I live in an apartment. There's like a little garden thing in between some of the buildings. There's like a bit of a community garden thing.
Okay.
It's not very big.
Yep.
Yeah, I've never been a garden. I've got some
Do you have
houseplants.
houseplants? Yeah.
I've got 2 houseplants.
Yeah. How are they going?
Pretty well.
Yeah. How long have they had them?
One of them like a couple years.
Okay. Yeah. So you can nurture something.
Yeah.
Like a Montserrat?
I can water a plant.
Yeah.
I don't even know what a Montserrat is.
They're really
the big
hardy
one?
type. Yeah, they grow. It's like little heart-shaped leaves kind of thing. They're really sturdy. You can't really kill it. It's hard to kill. Is it that? What is it? What do you got? Do
I
you
got
know
a
what you
Chinese money plant.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
some kind of
Similar thing.
succulent, but it's not a succulent.
Okay. That's a what?
It's a succulent. It looks like a succulent. Like
Yeah,
you
but
look at
it's-
it and say it's a succulent. It's got some other name. I don't remember.
Okay.
It.
Right. Okay.
But it's sturdy.
So
it's doing well.
we're learning that you're capable of nurturing something and growing something.
Yeah.
So everyone's working potatoes. Yeah.
Well, potatoes will have to have a bit of variety as well. But we can
Yeah.
also trade, you know.
Yeah.
If you've
Okay.
got
Yeah. So you're open to the idea of your followers going outside of the cult to trade outside,
Yeah,
or trading within the cult.
Well, both.
Yeah.
Trade is, I guess we're kind of like a commune, and we're doing it for the good of each other. But we can trade. It doesn't have to be like either communist or capitalist kind of thing.
Yeah. Right.
I don't think. I like to think I'm educated enough to know the difference, but actually putting it in practice,
Yeah.
trade.
Okay.
Let's just kind of do it the way that seems like the most natural, you know.
Well, what is it? So, okay, so let's say you have your potato farm, massive potato farm, and it makes enough to feed most of the cult, right? So how are the potatoes actually distributed? Does it come through you? So everyone's living within their household, their family units. Does every family unit just get an equal amount of potatoes? Because some people are working for the potatoes.
Yeah. Okay.
They're putting the work in, but they're getting the same amount as people that aren't putting the work in.
Some people
For
are doing
potatoes.
potatoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we got to share. Sharing is caring.
Yeah.
Solves that, right?
So how do you share?
How do we
equally?
share? We could have like a bean counter, like an administration kind of role,
Okay.
because I don't think that's really my strong suit, like accountancy and.
So you delegate that.
Delegate that.
Yeah.
You got to delegate.
Right. So we're building the little roles. Is the bean counter worth? Do they get more than the farmer?
I don't know. I mean, you're kind of, potatoes have kind of become currency, haven't they?
Well, yeah.
In what we're talking about, but because it is our main product. But I think you can't eat. It's not like money where, you can only eat so many potatoes. So if someone's got a surplus of potatoes, so what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna need it. So just as long as we have enough for everyone, you just have as much as you need, as much as you can eat.
Okay. Yeah.
And what are you complaining about? you got your potatoes. You're full.
Yeah. Okay. So just take as much as you need. Very what's the word? Egalitarian? No. It's
I'm going
just
to
an
try
equal society. Yeah.
I'm going to try for as much equality as possible.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
When I say as possible, I scared myself. I was like,
what is possible?
What is impossible? What's not going to be possible? What sort of inequalities am I going to have to enforce?
Right. So would you? What are you delegating here? So that level of complexity, you delegate to somebody else.
Yeah, like numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
Not my thing.
Yeah.
Entertainment, that's my thing.
Yeah.
Entertainment and the creed and the laws and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll get.
I can work with other people on that, but
yeah. Okay. Well, let's get into entertainment. Let's go on a day of the life of a follower, right? So they wake up. Is it like a 7-day working week or a 5-day working week? Are there weekends? So let's say I'm a follower. I get up, work potatoes, come home, spend time with my family, and then do I just do that on a loop for 7 days? Are there rituals involved?
Sounds kind of sad.
Yeah. That's kind of sounds like my normal life now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's pretty close to the bone, actually. Wake up, you do your potatoes. Agriculture is a bit different because, harvest season, you got to...
right.
You got to work a bit harder. And winter, not so much.
Yeah.
So I'm probably not going to have like strict 5-day weeks, but generally, as much as needs to be done, we do. And then the spare time, like we get together and sing and dance and and not about anything like particularly religious or anything. Maybe like some wisdom shit.
Some what?
Some wisdom shit or like some.
So so you holding like a sermon at some point?
I want to tell them about Cincinnatus for sure.
Yeah.
I want to tell them about some.
You're their leader, right? So you need to communicate to your followers. Like, how often are you gathering your followers and telling them about Cincinnatus?
Every so often. I think Wednesday night's pretty good. Because you want the weekends free for doing stuff like.
Yeah, so it's up to them.
Everybody's got to have. You can't live without freedom.
Yeah.
You got to have, unless like I'm really, really strict and I'm not that guy.
Yeah, right.
Weekends, chill. I mean, do your own thing. We're out in the country living happily together.
Yeah.
Go visit some other places. But this is your home and this is like our community.
This is okay. So they can go and like come and go as they please as well.
Yeah.
Like outside the cult. Right. But it's still a 7-day, so Wednesdays are still a thing. You're still abiding to the Gregorian calendar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you kind of want to fit in with the rest of the world. I mean, you've got the option, I guess, to like, I know some cults just completely...
They have their own thing going on.
Off the map. Like they're doing their own thing, living in a different world. Yeah. I don't want to live in a completely different world.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah.
We'll and that goes into currency and stuff as well. Isn't there a place in Australia that's like its own country, but not
like a sovereign state?
Yeah, something like that. Like there's
ACT?
No, I'm thinking something else.
Tassie?
No.
There's plenty. Well, they have like their own currency and stuff.
No, it's like they're trying to be their own country, but it's like one of those in between. If you ever looked up on Wikipedia, like no, it's like a protectorate or something like that.
Oh, okay. No.
On Wikipedia, places like Sealand, there's this like like an oil rig kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like a platform sticking out of the sea.
Yeah.
In like near off the coast of England.
Yeah,
and they're like, we're Sealand, and see land, and they got like they actually deal in like computers and stuff,
Right.
and like but they're not officially recognized as a country.
Yeah, but they are essentially a functioning nation.
Yeah, they're like what we're talking about, like
Yeah.
like a little cult, like a little community,
Oh, okay.
like
yeah.
doing their own thing,
Right.
just on a platform,
Yeah.
like on a platform
In the middle of the sea.
In the middle of the sea.
Okay, yeah.
Legit.
I'll be honest, I reckon you did the smart thing by choosing the Dandy Rangers because that, like, logistically,
Yeah,
that sounds
yeah,
like a
yeah.
nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Anyway,
yeah, like where's your food coming from?
yeah, exactly. Oh, the sea, probably.
Just fishing off the side of
Yeah,
it.
like mercury poisoning. Who cares? Okay, so we've sorted out day in the life. You've got your rituals, got your sermon Wednesday nights. What's that, like an hour long mass? Like, what are we talking here?
Yeah, whatever, man.
Hour, yeah. So
Yeah, an hour's a show.
an hour
As a room runner, as an entertainer.
Yeah.
An hour and a half is a good show. Any more than that. How long does mass go for? morning.
Sunday mass usually about an hour.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, but like a lot of it is ritual. So like they have like entrance hymn, and then you have the bit where you eat the bread.
Oh yeah.
And there's bells. But then like the priest does a spot, like a 20-minute spot after the
Nice.
communion. Yeah. So you get like minimum 20-minute stage time in Catholic mass.
Yeah.
But yeah, would yours be, so your sermon is just like an hour long, just you? Essentially your
doing it.
podcast. Like,
Am I
would you
doing
have a
it?
guest every time, or would you?
Oh yeah, there'd be a live podcast for sure.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So you just do a weekly live podcast?
Yeah, man. Instead of a newspaper, instead of like a community newspaper, we just got like a podcast.
Yeah, I mean,
It's like a
'cause-
different member of the community every week.
Oh, hey,
And we
I
just talk
actually
shit.
really like that.
And I just do my podcast.
Yeah, I would love that. 'Cause, like, that would be great if we had that in normal society, where it's like every week the prime minister
Yeah.
just has a podcast, and he just brings on like a random citizen.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I would.
It only
support
takes
the
an
Prime
hour.
Minister. Yeah, right.
It only takes an hour. Have all your people set it up for you. You just sit down in a chair.
Yeah. It's like jury duty. Like you just
Oh.
get a thing in the mail, and you're like, I guess I'm going on the elbow pod. this week.
Yeah, he flies you to Canberra.
Yeah, I would love that.
Oh,
That's
that's
a good
sick.
idea. That's not bad. Write that
If
down.
nothing else, I'm keeping that idea. I'm standing by that idea.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Okay, so you got your weekly
We
live
do a
podcast.
podcast.
Yeah.
We can do it, but that doesn't have. I don't want to. I want to do like a spot as well. I want to do like a comedy spot, maybe like
Yeah.
5, 10, 15, if I'm feeling it.
Yeah,
And
then
this,
you,
this is where the abuse of power would start to come out. Because I'd start to do longer and longer and longer.
and you have
Imagine,
to
like-
bump your guest for next week.
Imagine like Dave Chappelle running a cult. Because he goes long. Or Steve Hughes. He'd just go for forever.
yeah. Okay, right. I'm really liking
And it's
everything
not just
so far.
going to just be me. Like, I want creative people. I want to foster creativity.
Yeah.
If you got any music people in there, community like music lessons and drama, we can put on plays and stuff. And people that want to do stuff, we can, they can come to me or put it on a board, or like the stage supervisor or something. We've got something we want to do.
So is everything? But is this all happening every Wednesday night? Like it's just Wednesday night. This is the night. This is the community night.
We could do it. We could split it up into into different nights as well.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Wednesday night, I only said Wednesday night in the first place because it's like a nice night to stay home, and that was all.
Nice night to stay
you know
home.
what it comes from is ABC TV was always popping on Wednesday nights.
It is,
They
yeah.
always had the best programming was on
Yeah.
Wednesday nights.
It was Summer Heights High, The Chaser.
Oh, The Chaser.
And there was another, Spicks and Specs.
Yeah.
There was those three. That was good. That was a good time.
Gruen,
Gruen,
Hungry
yeah.
Beast back in the day. You
Yeah,
remember that? That was
yeah.
a great show.
Yeah. So you're doing ABC Wednesday night?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, and that's what your cult. So there was going to be, the question is is going to be based around a theme, your cult, and I feel like that's a strong sort of theme because it's communal. You're gathering people together. You're showing off. You got arts involved. I think it's really nice. Nice. Yeah.
It's just one big camp in the country, like an arts camp.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
Yeah.
But like permanent.
Okay.
And you can just work on your shit and have fun, like somewhere to live.
Yeah.
And then we can go out and go on the road. 1 month every year we go out on the road and we do gigs, and that helps finance the whole thing.
Yeah, so like in the off, not harvest season, in winter.
Yeah.
So you're taking on like a winter road, 750 people, or just like
No,
you have like just your like representatives, like what, 50 people?
yeah, like a
traveling
like a
troupe?
play, a couple like comedy spots, like music and stuff.
Yeah.
And we go out and do a show.
I'm taking it around the world. Okay,
Basically,
so
gypsies, man.
so I was going to ask you what your recruitment strategy would be, like in order to join this cult.
All right, so we got 750 to start with,
Yes,
and like
because you want to be successful, so you got to grow
Uh-huh.
it. You need a growth strategy. Now, what I'm thinking, this is just my pitch, is that if you're taking people on a road show, that's your recruitment strategy.
Yeah,
Because like, how many people run away and join the circus? You know, that used to be a
took
thing.
the words right out of my mouth. Absolutely.
That's it. Because like, you know, when you're a kid, I mean, not that you should be stealing children or recruiting children, but it's
Right.
like you'd go see the circus and you'd be like, I could just join them, and you know, it's like there's freedom there.
I was thinking like LGBTQI people as well. Like
Yeah.
in the country.
Yeah, yeah,
Like you're in your community, you don't quite fit in your community. Come
Yeah.
join this,
yeah.
because this is like party town. This
Yeah.
is like expression, the arts.
You will have to farm potatoes for the majority of the
You'll
day.
have to
though.
farm potatoes, but
You got to do
how hard is
that.
it
You got to
really
do that
gonna
all
be?
the time anyway.
You got you know how big potato farms are, and like how few people you need to actually run them with modern
don't.
like agricultural, like I'm thinking like a big
Yeah, right.
like big machines and shit.
Yeah, I mean,
You used to have to have an ox, and there used to be like a measurement in the UK imperial measurement system, called like a furlong.
is
A
that
furlong?
what a furlong is?
A furlong is like how long like an ox drags like this like spike through the ground to make like to rip up whatever that's called, like ripping up the ground. You know, you like drag
like hoeing and
Yeah, like
tilling the
tilling.
field.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm so far removed from agriculture, man. But that's like where it comes from. Like, you used to have an ox, and like that was like the allotment of land that you were given by like whoever, because it was different land ownership back in those days. Like,
Yeah.
like hundreds of years ago, it's like the king's land,
Okay.
and he gives you like this much land,
Yeah.
and that's like a furlong.
And it's right. Okay. But so what? So
But we don't need that anymore because we got
tractors.
modern
Tractor-long.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, tractor long. There may be no limit to the amount of. I really hope that there's someone who's more on the ball with agriculture than me.
I mean,
in that 750 sample size.
Yeah. You'll have someone. Right. You'll have somebody. Okay.
Undoubtedly,
So
hopefully.
let's park that. You've got it all done. I'm getting really excited because
Me too, man, me
I
too.
kind of want to join already. But let's think a bit more philosophically. So what's your guiding principle throughout the cult? Like, it seems to be based very much around, you know, freedom of expression and pretty much anything goes as long as you help like contribute to the society.
Yep.
Do you have any like guiding principles in your life to begin with?
I love that question.
Yeah.
I love that. Definitely trying to work on truthfulness,
You're right.
being truthful, because lying and deception and manipulation just it weighs too much, man. And carrying it around all the time.
Yeah.
So definitely truthfulness, you know, value, bringing value. For me, that's important to me, is bringing value to the community.
Yeah.
So
So are you talking about as a cult leader or like in your current life now?
in my life now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you practice that?
That would extend to being a cult leader. I've got to
Yeah.
bring value. I'm not just here, you know, telling people what to do and reaping the raw, you know, like trickle up economics or whatever.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here just to like benefit off you.
Yeah, right.
I'm here to provide value to you.
Yeah. Because
As-
you see leadership as a responsibility as opposed to power.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that. You know, mindfulness, kindness.
Mm-hmm.
Kindness is huge, and that's what's going to make us get on with each other and live together well. Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's
simple, really.
It is, and
it does all come from the myths and culture that's been passed down for generations and that has worked. You know, like there's a reason that kindness, you keep getting told to be polite and your manners and stuff like that. Like your parents are always on it, like bad manners, like they stamp it out, that bad behavior, like because it works, because it helps society function well.
Yeah, it
so
does.
Things like that. There's so many things that we've already got that your parents taught you that work.
Yeah.
You know, maybe the opportunity with leading a cult is you can make a few tweaks here and there. What you want people to do, but and how you want them to behave and what you want them to believe. But for the most part, pretty much Western culture is not perfect. There's some things I'd borrow from the East for sure.
Yeah.
You know, like
Let me know.
from Buddhism and shit like that I haven't even properly read, but like Zen and well, Stoicism is like both East and West, right?
Yeah, I think so.
There's like forms of it.
I feel like Stoicism, there's a lot of like Russian Stoics, I think.
Really?
I think so. I can't remember. Maybe. I should have done some research before this too. But
man, I wish I could just like give the spiel and like, sound like I knew what I was talking about.
But I can see where I can see where it's coming from. I think it's you have good values to begin with, and that's going to extend into your leadership.
I hope so.
But you did mention, Western society isn't perfect, and there's little tweaks that you would want to make. So what are the little tweaks? So what would you outlaw in your cult that is maybe legal in current society, or vice versa? So what's not legal? What would you legalize? Yeah. What would you legalize or outlaw?
The first thing I think legalize is weed.
Yeah.
Legalize weed. It just goes together.
Yeah.
So easily. And I mean, I haven't even legalized weed for me. Like I haven't let myself have weed yet in 27 years of living.
Oh, really?
I'm just like,
smoke weed?
Yeah, because I'm just like, well, what if it just makes me the laziest cunt in the history of the planet? Yeah. Because it could, and I don't know until I've tried
it definitely could, yeah.
Because it has. Maybe I'm mature enough to not, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But for other people, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But if you're just being a lazy, but then that comes back to the value of like, are you adding value are you contributing? Are you,
Well, does that...
And if they're stoned off their mind and they're not, and they're not farming those potatoes...
Yeah.
Well, come on, man.
So do you think you inherently should bring value to your society?
Of course.
Okay. Yeah. What about people that aren't capable of it?
Oh, because there are some people that are, yeah.
Some people just
some people don't have...
any value?
I love how my mind went to people. Some people don't have legs, and your mind went to some people don't have any value. Well, yeah, isn't that a good measure of the society? Is how it treats the disadvantaged.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Also, I should just say for the record, I think you can contribute to society
absolutely.
without legs.
Oh, yeah. It's not mutually exclusive. Value and legs.
Yeah. Legs aren't the be all and end all, but yeah.
You can be the bean counter. You can have a ripper and act.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a very pro amputee cult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like whatever. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
I'm going to need you to contribute something. Like you're going to have to like provide some value. Of course.
Okay. Yeah.
Some people and people will get older and not be able to till the fields anymore.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to look after them.
Yeah. So you're going to establish a society where you got to look after the people that are incapable of contributing to society. So that's
our healthcare is just not going to be that good. It's just not going to be that good compared to the city. Like if someone's really in trouble, that's why we can't just shut ourselves off. Because if someone needs to go to the hospital, we're in the Dandy Ranges. We're not that far from a hospital, like a proper hospital. Yeah. We can send them to a hospital, hopefully, if we're on good terms with Australia.
I think it would. I don't think it's illegal to start a commune, is it?
Illegal?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's something like if you were like, this is our land and we are not Australia now. Australia would be like, hold on.
Yeah. Yes, you.
What about our tax? Like you're still paying tax.
Yeah, right. Well, are you paying tax?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, right?
If we're still, I mean, yeah, most cults are still, you know, even like Amish people, and they're paying tax to.
I think,
to
yeah, actually, I've never actually thought about
they?
that. Do Amish people pay tax?
Get onto them if they don't. if this is something that no one's thought about for like 100 years, sorry,
they owe.
You're in trouble.
All right, so I think we've established a really strong cult so far.
I really hope so.
And I'm like really excited about it. But now this is where we get into the testing side, right? We got to test so we're in the test phase.
Okay.
We've established the cult, we've built it, but you haven't really had any true leadership challenges right now. So what I'm going to do is there's a deck of cards right there, and you can choose any card at random, and it's going to correlate with a scenario here, right?
Right.
So pick a card. So we'll tell me what it is, and then I'll read you your scenario, and we can do however many we want to do. Maybe 3. We'll go for 3, depending on how they go.
So I tell you what the card is.
Yep.
It is the 6 of clubs.
6 of clubs. All right. So this is your scenario. This is a good one to start with. Okay. Right. This is called the 6 is the prodigal son card. Ooh. Right. So I feel like we've already sorted this, but it's a defector. So a defector, somebody has left the cult. Let's call him James. James has left the cult.
Right.
And you know, he's gone out back into society. He's gone for like, 2 years or whatever, just partying, living it up.
Right.
But he's realised that he wants to return to the cult of James G. Warren. How do you deal with that? What's your policy on returning defectors?
I mean, depending on how he's represented himself in the outside world. You say he's been off partying.
Yeah.
Well, whether that be partying as in like spreading, what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to create joy and love and like entertainment and stuff like that.
Okay,
if he's out there tearing it up, and they're like he comes from this cult. Yeah. Then he's representing us pretty well. If he's tearing it up and having a great time and being a lovely person. Yeah. If you've been a man, it's difficult.
Okay, the way that I'm picturing him, and this is the way that it's, well, because I make the rules, it's...
Yeah.
He's let's say like a Logan Paul type, right? So he's got some value. He's a charismatic dude.
Right.
Kind of problematic. But ultimately not like the worst person on earth.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been representing your cult
hasn't, right.
But because he's been away for so long, does he still, represent his cult? But people know that he was raised.
He's probably got family and friends and people that would probably want him back, right?
Yeah.
So if it's all up to me and I don't like him, then I'd be saying no.
Right.
But depending on the democratic values that we have.
So you would go to the people?
If the people want him back, I mean, I'd have to. Any sensible leader would have to sort of have their feet on the ground, have an ear to the ground. Yeah. Is that what it's called?
Okay.
To kind of have the sense of the vibe of what people are thinking.
Right. Okay. So this is what we're going to do.
Probably act on that.
So you're putting it to a vote. So we're going to roll the dice.
Okay.
And we're going to decide. That's going to tell us how much of the people want him back versus not want him back.
If he wants to be back and he wants to contribute and he wants to be a good guy again, then.
Well, that's what he said, but...
That's what he said, but we don't trust him?
Yeah, but if we're going to put it to the vote, let's put it to the vote for the people.
If he fucks up, we can always kick him out.
You can always kick him out, yeah.
It's reversible.
Okay, so let's roll the die. But right. You always have absolute power, right?
Right.
You're letting the people have their say.
Yeah.
I'm
trying to act on behalf of the people.
Yeah, but if you disagree with them, you can't overrule them.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So let's say, you've rolled a 12. So that's 60%. 60% of the population want to let him in, but that's a strong 40% that don't want him back.
40% don't want him in.
Yeah. Now, you're going to risk something here. So if you let him back in, you're risking losing 40% of the population.
You reckon 40% will leave?
Oh, not leave, but you're going to lose some credibility there, yeah. Or do you think that you'd be able to convince them because it went to a vote?
Yeah, you can't please everyone, especially in democracy.
Yeah.
I mean, look at something like about that percentage of people didn't win the latest federal election
Right.
or the state election or whatever. How many people wanted Daniel Andrews to get sacked? This is going into Victorian politics, by the way.
That's what the whole thing's about.
But tough, man.
Yeah.
Like, if you can build the support for your case and win the election next year, then you can do that.
Okay. All right. So let's say.
But you didn't win this time.
Let's
didn't get
say
your way this time.
All right. So.
And we're going to have to agree to disagree. We can't have 750 people plus the new recruits. We can't have everybody agreeing all the time, and we're going to have to deal with that.
Okay, I'm convinced. Right. I was going to do a whole role play thing where I'm somebody from the 40%, but I think you pretty much just convinced me.
Yeah, I shut you down. I destroyed you.
That's strong. That's strong leadership. All right. Another card?
I'm loving this. I'm really feeling my principles guiding me, man.
Right? Yeah.
I feel like I can do this.
I am on board. All right. So another card, another scenario.
Happy to do a role play, by the way.
Yeah, no.
I don't want to.
There's some other ones that regarded.
6 of diamonds.
A 6 of diamonds. Look, I've only got. It just depends on what number you get. So just pick another card.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
3.
A 3.
All right. Hearts.
3 of hearts. So that's okay. So that's the rival cult card.
Ooh.
Right. So a rival and similar sized cult has set up on the property adjacent to yours. Right. So it's like around 700 people. Yep. And you can see that some of your cult members are becoming a little bit curious about what's going on in the other cult, right? And you know they're trying to figure out what they have to offer. So, what do you do there? Like in terms of how do you handle a rival cult sort of encroaching on your space and potentially poaching members?
Well, first thing I thought was I've got to speak to this cult leader.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to meet.
All right.
We're going to meet man to man.
Okay. Right. So I'm the cult leader. My name is. I'm just going to say it's my cult. Okay. It's the cult of Phoenix Trinidad.
Okay.
How's it going, man?
G'day. Nice to meet you. I'm James.
Yeah. Nice. I've
I'm
seen
leader
you
of the
at
James
potato
G.
farms.
Warren.
Yeah. I'm doing radishes.
Radishes.
Yeah.
Nice.
I got my guys doing radishes.
We should trade.
Trade. I don't know if I want to trade. My guys are really into radishes, and I know I've spoken to some of your guys, and they also really like radishes. So I think I think it's in my best interest to just keep doing radishes, and tempt your guys to come over to mine, because the radishes are better over here. We also do sweet potatoes as well, so we already got potatoes. So I don't know if you need. Are you doing like just regular white cream potatoes, or what type of potatoes you got?
I got a couple different types of potatoes.
Okay.
I've got some other things as well. It's not just potatoes, but potatoes are, as you know, you got to keep, as you know, man to man, you got to keep the people fed. You got to get those carbohydrates up.
Yeah.
So that's you got to have your main thing. But
we've got cattle as well.
Who's just eating that?
Yeah.
Oh, we're completely vegetarian.
Completely vegetarian.
At the moment, I haven't even thought about meat because I don't eat meat in my personal life.
All right. Well, look, man. I'm probably going to take some of your followers. I've noticed they're a little bit curious. They're coming over. They're asking a lot of questions, and I think I've got a lot of them sold. And I think what I'm doing over here is a bit better. I'm
disappointed that they talked to you and I haven't heard about it.
Yeah,
they went and talked to you. Wow. Speaking to what's it called? Like the breakout cam. Like Big Brother when they're in a room.
Oh yeah. I'll break out of
Phoenix
Trinidad. I'm back to cultsultant Phoenix Trinidad.
Man, it sounds like he's gonna take some followers. I'm not really sure how the conversation's going. I was hoping to get some common ground and to really get to know this guy and maybe make a friend. How many people are going through the same thing as me?
Yeah, right.
If the best case scenario, we could have sort of coexist and trade and have and do have some members, spending time with each other, like visiting,
okay,
trade and shows and whatever you do.
Yeah.
What's your cult about? Are you a religious kind of thing?
Am I going back into cult leader Phoenix Trinidad?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So what's your cult about? What's this all about?
It's pretty much just like a power play, really. They just started following me, and I'm like, look, let's just do radishes and sweet potatoes. They just pretty much do whatever I want, really.
Right.
I got some of them with doing cattle, and I've got them like building me a massive throne.
Wow.
A throne room. I think that's really important because you got to show that you got to show the power, right?
Right.
So. Yeah, and I give them, they get a 20-minute break throughout the day. Otherwise, they're just sort of tilling the fields and, sort of working for me. And it's going pretty well. It's a pretty fun time.
Right.
I've got like 20 wives. Yeah.
Shit. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
What do you got going on over there? You got a...
It's a whole big song and dance. We got potatoes. We got freedom of expression.
Yeah. You're one of those cults, right?
Yeah, we're just a big summer camp.
Yeah, okay.
For all seasons.
Yeah.
We're just a big arts camp.
Yeah. Not a big fan of that. So I think...
absolutely, you're welcome to your opinion.
Okay.
I just...
Are we allowed to come over to... I've heard there's a bit of noise happening on Wednesday nights.
Oh, you want to come to the Wednesday night shows?
Yeah, I'll come check it out if you want to come check it out.
Yeah, you can come check it out.
Yeah. Are there any rules? Is there a dress code or...
What do you guys wear?
We just wear... most of my guys are... Well, my people are naked.
Okay.
Yeah, we just do a whole, free body thing. I'm wearing, gold... Like a gold robe.
Right.
With nothing else underneath it. I think it's just it's a show of power, really.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Yeah, because I made them give me their life savings and everything. And
Jesus.
Yeah, not really paying tax either. But
that's crazy.
That's the advantage of being a cult leader. You can just sort of do whatever you want. I'll be there on Wednesday. I'll come check it out.
Come to Wednesday,
unless you think that's going to cause any issues or.
I can't see how that would, and if it did, well then you and I would have to deal with it.
Okay, cool. All right, well, I'll see you on Wednesday.
But I don't foresee any issues.
Yeah.
Small matter of territory though.
Right.
Are we gonna have open borders kind of thing? Do you have a territory? You've kind of moved in right next to us. We have this.
Well,
this bit.
I don't really want you guys coming over our side.
So you don't want us coming over to you?
Nah, I think that's
You don't want us freely coming over. You want, but you're trying to get us to join. If my followers join you, they go over to you.
Yeah.
And they stay there.
More the merrier. But I don't want any of you guys coming over to our side. But I'll happily come to your side and sort of just check it out and maybe talk to some of your guys that want to come over to my side because it's just fair play. If they see a strong man, a strong leader, I think they're gonna appeal.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna appeal to them.
Yeah. If that's what you think,
okay,
then you're welcome. But just privately to the breakout camp. This guy's fucking dreaming. If he thinks we're all liberty and goodwill and shit, why would you want to go to a dictator?
Yeah.
Why would you want to do that? If I'm a member of the cult,
yeah.
If I'm just a person, I'm not the cult leader. I'm I want to, because my people can go wherever they want.
Yeah.
You got your weekends. You got you can go wherever you want.
Yeah. And so your solution then?
Why would you want to go join that piece of shit?
They're
curious,
man. They're curious.
I think they're curious.
Yeah, they're curious. They're asking questions. But
right.
I think that your guiding principle or what your solution is just lead by example, show that you are a free society.
Yeah.
And hopefully that wins in the end, right? So that's your strategy.
That's what I'm hoping. If someone wants to leave that, then you can leave.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I'm not going to hunt you to the ends of the earth.
Right.
I'm not going to hold on to you with tooth and nail. If you really want to leave, then then we've got our differences and you want to live differently and that's fine.
Yeah. Beautiful.
But I'm doing my best to make it the best the best living experience that people will want to live in.
Yeah.
Freely.
Okay. Beautiful. All right. Well, last scenario card, and then we'll wrap it up and I'll give you your rating.
Fantastic. 7.
All right.
Diamonds.
Last one. public relations card. So,
Okay.
Yeah, your cult is picking up media attention from the outside world, and they are interested in interviewing you.
Mm-hmm.
The outside narrative is painting you as an egomaniacal leader that's brainwashing their followers.
Yeah, right.
So, do you let the reporters in? Do you try and change the narrative? What's your approach there? So how do you communicate to the outside world about what's going on with
Oh, I see this personally as a huge opportunity.
Yeah.
To get our message out there.
Yeah.
To I know the media narrative's not in our favour right now, but I believe in myself so much. I believe in what we do so much that I believe that if they see us on screen, they're going to see what we're about.
Okay, so I'm
in favour of it. We're going to have to, be careful about it. And I've done interviews before.
Yeah.
I'm okay with being the face of it. I'm okay with taking the responsibility.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I'm up for it.
All right, so they've come in, right? They've given you an interview, and then you've got 30 seconds on air at prime time, so 6 p.m. news.
30 seconds?
Yeah. And you've just got to make your pitch to the news. And just so that they can hear your sort of... So Tracy Grimshaw's come in. She's like, look, okay, we've seen what you do. We've shot a bunch of footage. This is now your time. You've got 30 seconds to explain to the Australian people what your cult is about and why it's not a brainwashing cult led by an egomaniac named James G. Warren.
Wow, that's tough.
Yeah.
And I mean, ideally, I know you're going to try and get me to do this off the cuff.
Yeah.
Ideally, I would just, think really carefully about how many seconds I'm going to spend of this 30 seconds talking about how I'm not an egomaniac. Do I even go into defend myself? Because if you come off defensive, you're just confirming everything that they've been talking about.
Yeah.
So my name is James G. Warren. I'm the leader of the James G. Warren cult. We live in the Dandies. We've got ripper shows every Wednesday night. We're farming potatoes. We're just a live, love, laugh kind of bunch. We're living our best life. You know where to find us. All people welcome. We're just an alternative living.
Yeah.
This is alternative living.
Yeah.
In the bush, back to basics. Back to... if I start talking about values, it's back to good old-fashioned values. That stinks of...
whites only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, come check us out. Our website is jamesgwarrencult.org. For more information, we hope you'll consider us.
Yeah. .org, I like that. That's humble.
Yeah.
To have the .org.
.org. It's humble.
Don't go for the .com.au.
.com.au.
All right. Well, thank you, James, for your cult pitch. It sounds like a really nice place to be. So I'm going to give you, out of 10, I'm going to give you a 9 out of 10 for cult points. Because it sounds like just a really nice, pleasant place to live. It sounds like a simple lifestyle. I am a little bit worried about that other cult next door, and I think there's some other things to play out there.
I hope it doesn't come to a confrontation because we're not really equipped to fight.
Yeah.
That's another thing about societies is the ones with good militaries and good defense, they last. Yeah. Because they can absorb the weaker cults like mine. They just want to, have a song and dance all the time and aren't going to defend themselves.
Yeah. So that's the only reason it's not a 10 is because I did feel a little bit off with it's a vegetarian cult.
Yeah.
I like meat. But I'm not going to deduct a point for that. But
I just didn't even think about meat. That was the only reason it was vegetarian. It was just in the moment I'm like, I haven't thought about meat yet. I'm thinking about potatoes.
Yeah. Congratulations. You are now a successful cult leader.
Oh, this is the greatest day of my life.
Thank you, James. Anything to plug? You got a podcast?
Yeah, I've got a podcast. It's called the Write That Down podcast. We just, every week when I'm on my game, just sit with the guests, talk, usually about comedy,
Yep.
about whatever, and if anything great happens, we write it down.
Yeah.
And then at the end of like the 2-3 hours, we've got like a great list of things that we've written down,
Beautiful.
recommendations, stuff like that. That's
Yeah.
on my LinkedIn, not my LinkedIn,
Your LinkedIn.
my link tree. Put my link tree.
Yeah.
Put my link tree on.
Are you on LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Maybe.
But
What are your
as
other
my,
socials? What
That's
are
my
your-
real job, though. It says letter carrier for Australia Post, which is my real my day job, which is not who I really am.
Yeah.
Yeah. My everything's on my link tree.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right. I'll put a link in the description.
Thanks, mate.
James G. Warren, thank you for coming on and building a cult.
Phoenix Trinidad, it has been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's build a cult.